Good evening and welcome to the Gateshead International Stadium for a WSL 2 clash of real consequence as two promotion-chasing teams go toe-to-toe. Newcastle United hosting Birmingham City with 3 huge points up for grabs under the lights. Two sides full of quality and ambition meeting, both with their sights firmly set on promotion and with every chance of fulfilling their lofty ambitions. Newcastle United will be frustrated to have only collected a point last time out from their trip to Bramall Lane, while Birmingham City's winner fairly late on at St Mary's maintains their momentum and keeps them potentially on the coattails of pace setters Charlton if they can make their games in hand truly count. A special night of football in Prospect Den in the northeast. What a campaign it has been and what a thrilling promotion fight it has produced. Full of twists and turns, of highs and lows, and it is far from over. I'm David Stahl. I'm delighted to have former Birmingham City captain Cerys Harrop alongside me for this one. It is a big one tonight, Cerys.
Absolutely. As you mentioned earlier, both teams will be wanting the win. Newcastle, looking at the teams around them, they've got a game in hand and they want to get the win, or even the draw potentially might move them up into 4th place. And I think for Birmingham, they want to keep behind Charlton as much as possible and reduce that gap, but also create a gap between themselves and Palace, who are only a point behind them. So yeah, really important game for both teams tonight.
Well, let's get to the team news, shall we, to work out who's playing, where they're playing and what might happen with them on the field tonight. The Newcastle squad contains some familiar faces for Birmingham City fans. Aoife Mannion, a Champions League semi-finalist with the Blues, starts at the back. Midfielder Emma Kelly, recently returned from injury, spent 2 years in the second City, making appearances in the top flight. And substitute Shania Hales began her senior career with City after a spell in the youth system at rivals Aston Villa. The two changes from the weekend see Diana Cooper and Freya Gregory replace Demi Stokes and Beth Lumsden.
Yeah, you mentioned some the former Blues players there, and yeah, well, I was in the squad with Emma Kelly, Aoife Mannion as well. We got to the semi-final of the Champions League, so I know Aoife as captain especially, she's a real great signing for Newcastle. I was watching the game on the weekend against Sheffield and she was barking orders. That's what you need, for Newcastle. If they want to get promoted, they need players like Aoife who are her leaders and really want to motivate and try and push the team on to win tonight.
So 2 changes for Newcastle. Amy Merricks also initially made just 2 alterations from her weekend 11 for Birmingham City. That has just in the last few minutes become 3, with Hannah Silcock injured in the warm-up and Shannon Cook stepping in to start. Elsewhere, goal scorer from the bench on Saturday, Asato Miyagawa, and London City Lionesses lonely Lotta Lindstrom come in. Sinead Hopcroft and Ocean Eutre make way and could provide dangerous attacking thrust from the bench later on.
Yeah, disappointing for Silcock. I think it was a starting appearance for her, so she'll be really disappointed to pick up an injury, but Shannon Cook comes in, leader, natural experience, so hope it doesn't shake Birmingham too much. But yeah, they've got a strong team. We were talking about the bench earlier, weren't we, and how strong that is as well. So yeah, quality in the starting 11, quality on the bench, and let's see how they all do in the game tonight.
And let's see who sort of tilts the balance either way. You've picked out a couple of players who might well do that. Emily Murphy for Newcastle United.
Yeah, I think she's full of confidence. She obviously had the goal against Sheffield on the weekend. She had a good spell with Ireland as well, and she picked up player of the match for one of those games. I think she's a key player for Newcastle, top goal scorer there as well. So a real threat for them that Birmingham would definitely be aware of.
And top scorer for Birmingham City is, of course, Beatrice Sarri, who can play pretty much anywhere in that front line, and so she's a dangerous customer.
Absolutely, yeah, she's got real quality. Probably one of the best technicians, if not the best technician on the Birmingham team. And yeah, I think she'll play on the wing tonight. But yeah, she doesn't stay there. She floats around and comes inside and gets shots off from distance. But yeah, real key player for Birmingham, and she'll definitely want to add to her goal scoring tally tonight.
And as you can see, the Blues are in red, Sunderland red, some might say, which might fire up those in black and white stripes. And indeed, the man in the middle today is Will Davis, who has the whistle. And he is just making sure everyone is where they should be so we can get this one underway. An atmosphere always guaranteed in this part of the world, of course. Let's see what the football produces. 2 of the division's best attacks and 2 of the league's best defences. The gap between Newcastle and Birmingham could be just 2 points at full time, or it could be 8. Such is the jeopardy and reward of games between promotion contenders at this stage of proceedings. We should expect a high-quality encounter between 2 very well-coached teams, packed with talent and experience, and desperate to make their mark on the evening and the table too.
Absolutely, and I always loved a game under the lights. It's weird as a player, you feel like you've got more energy, whether that's you've rested more in the day, you maybe took on a bit more food than you would do on a weekend. But yeah, I always loved a midweek game. So yeah, I think all the girls will be energised anyway, but they'll absolutely be built for it because they know how important the game is, and to hopefully get a win, both teams.
The early energy, always interesting to have a look at, particularly, of course, when there's been a late change. So Hannah Silcock having to drop out. We're told she picked up a leg injury in the warm-up. So Shannon Cook in from the off. So maybe a little bit of settling down required at the back.
Yeah, potentially. But Shannon Cook has been in the back line for the most part of the season. It's not like she's a player that hasn't played there regularly. So it was an opportunity for Silcock, and it's a shame for her that she's missing out tonight. But Shannon Cook will step in as normal. You know, she would have prepared properly for the game. And yeah, I don't think it will unsettle Birmingham too much because she's naturally one of the starting centre-backs anyway.
Well, I wonder what we'll get from the players. I wonder what we'll see from the respective coaches. Amy Merricks has spoken throughout the season of her desire to evolve and nurture her squad so that they peak at just the right time. From the outside looking at it, appears to have worked a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're riding high. I think from the start of the season and with Birmingham where they finished last season, they might have been favourites to be at the top. I think it was probably a surprise that Charlton are up there, but fair play to Charlton for sticking at it, and even after January still getting some really important results. But ultimately Birmingham are up there. They're in those automatic promotion places, as it stands, and they'll definitely be wanting to stay there and see out the season. If not as winners, second place.
And an offside flag is going to thwart that Birmingham City attack. You mentioned Charlton, of course. Interesting to follow their form through the season. They won at the weekend against 10-player Sunderland, but their match previous to that, a home defeat to Portsmouth, who are starting to really pick up form in what is a fascinating relegation battle. We'll touch on that, of course, during the course of the evening, even though we're very much focused on the battle at the top for the likes of Amy Merricks and Tanya Oxtoby.
Yeah, it was a real surprising result, that, wasn't it? I remember when I saw it on the weekend and saw that result. I think, luckily for Charlton, they've made a bit of a cushion for themselves already. There's quite a gap, isn't there, between themselves and Birmingham? But yeah, they were definitely expecting to win that game and increase that gap even more. But fair play to Portsmouth. You know, they're obviously underdogs, but I think as a player, when you know you're underdogs, there's no pressure. So they obviously went for it and got a real good result.
Here's Murphy. Good work to pick the Birmingham City pocket there, albeit those in red well stocked at the back. Let's not forget the gap, as you say, 9 points between Birmingham City in second and Charlton in first as it stands. But Birmingham City have 2 games in hand. And where do they go on final day? Charlton. So it's all shaping up to be a really intriguing finish, isn't it?
Yeah, I was looking at the fixtures the other day, actually, and I saw that one. And yeah, definitely going to be a tasty fixture come the end of the season, if it is that both teams are still up there. So there's no better way to end it like that, is there? Certainly entertaining for a neutral anyway.
The fixture computer throws up all sorts, doesn't it? And of course, this game rescheduled from early January after the pitch here was frozen, and therefore the game was unable to happen. So it provides these two with a chance to play catch-up a little bit in terms of number of matches played this season. A little bit of head tennis as Chelsea Cornet tries to get it away, not once but twice. On the back foot is Deanna Cooper. All the way back home, and the ball tucked away from Lily Crosthwaite, who was giving chase. On it goes from Jordan Nobbs with Charlotte Wardlaw well forward, as she loves to be, buzzing up and down the right-hand side. Aoife Mannion sliding it through for Murphy. Getting no change out of Niamh Heron, who was terrific at the weekend for Birmingham City in victory at Southampton.
I think Heron's had a real solid season again for Birmingham. She's a real key player for them and still really young. You know, you forget how young she is, but she's got good experience now at this level. And yeah, I think she's really settled into the Birmingham team. But as a former left-sided centre-back at Birmingham myself, yeah, I've been impressed with Niamh, and you know, not just a defending, but also a technical ability as well to build play from the back. But yeah, she's definitely had a real strong and positive season so far for Birmingham.
Interesting to see how she deals tonight with the threat of Emily Murphy, backed up by the likes of Amelia Larson and Freya Gregory. A little bit of a change from the weekend where Beth Lumsden was down the right-hand side at times. That's a Birmingham City ball. Just get the sense in these early moments, both sides just trying to settle into the game, not take any risks, find their feet under the lights.
You mentioned there's a bit of head tennis earlier. I think both teams just need to try and settle down. You know, they're both good footballing teams. And I think with the stature of the game and how important it is, and sometimes it gets a little bit tense, a little bit nervy. But yeah, I think both teams will just take a few minutes to settle down.
Could be a big night for experience, of course. Jordan Nobbs there looking to run the show in the middle of the park for those in black and white stripes. Birmingham City possession, trying to release Rebecca Holloway here, who will get to it. Up against Mannion, looking for the support which comes from Miyagawa. And how her teammates celebrated with her at the weekend, not just because of the goal for the collective, but the meaning of the goal for the individual as well. Here's Murphy, scorer in Newcastle colours at the weekend. Challenge from Shannon Cook, and right on the cusp of the penalty area, a Newcastle United free kick. Jordan Nobbs wasn't quite sure whether it was a few yards further forward.
Yeah, I was wincing a bit at that one then. It was a good play there from Murphy, just knocks it past Cook, and yeah, it was close, wasn't it? He's just about managed to keep it outside of the box, but I think definitely one for Newcastle to appeal. But yeah, a bit of a risky, she didn't need to make the challenge there. There was recovering defenders coming by, but real great opportunity now for Newcastle to try and hit the target.
The leg was well and truly dangled, wasn't it? And it presents an opportunity here for Freya Gregory, who's taken charge.
Yeah, this is perfect spot here for a left footer, and Freya Gregory's definitely got that very good technician with her left foot, so not surprised she's eyeing this one up.
Formerly of Aston Villa, of course. Not one of her best, though. Not too much work for the Birmingham City wall to do, nor for Adriana Franch. Pretty routine for her with the gloves. On from Sarri, once again trying to set Holloway through. Well, moments like that, if they are taken and grasped, can make a real difference on a night like this.
Absolutely, so early in the game as well. If that had been on target and a goal, you know, Newcastle up within 8 minutes, can really unsettle Birmingham and give Newcastle that confidence. I think Freya, we should be disappointed with that. I know Freya, she'll have wanted to at least got it over the wall and hit the target of her capabilities.
Yeah, some people go high, obviously, over the wall. Some decide to be deceptive and go under the wall. That one just kind of was caught in the middle ground, wasn't it? But maybe that's a warning for Birmingham City for later on. Goal kick for Anna Tamanen to take. Holloway's header, Wardlaw emerges with it. Once again looking for the pace on the break of Emily Murphy. Painful one for Niamh Heron. Charlotte Wardlaw serenaded in her unique way from those in the stands.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with the Newcastle fans. Even when I used to watch them last season in lower leagues, they always had travelling fans, whether it was, you know, I used to go to games at like Stoke and some of the Midlands teams, and yeah, they'd always have a travelling fan base, so it's really great to see. You know, they're not just supporting the men's team, but a real good, solid following for the women's as well.
Mannion's throw towards Murphy. Both sides now making a bit of a mess of back-to-back throw-ins. So the initiative given back to those who've travelled. Well, they were so pleased to see Miyagawa's goal fly in with about quarter of an hour to go at Southampton last time out. Both sides lively early on in that game, rather like this one. Although Southampton took charge of proceedings at times. Second half was really soggy with the rain tumbling down.
Yeah, I caught a bit to the Newcastle game on Saturday against Sheffield, and again, like first half, Newcastle weren't really as solid as they could be. From what I saw, it was actually Sheffield more in possession. So I think for both teams, it's really important. You can't afford to waste that first 45 minutes. It's really key that you make a real good, positive start. And I think both teams will be looking to do that tonight because, you mentioned Southampton maybe took charge at times on the weekend, and that was definitely the case with Sheffield as well. I think both teams got more into the game in the second half, and obviously Mia Gower got that one late on, a big relief for Birmingham that was, and luckily for Newcastle, Emily Murphy scored pretty quickly after the Sheffield goal went in. But yeah, they don't really want to be going down. And chance here.
Oh, it's Sarri. Well, that was a really presentable opening for a player of real quality. And it almost took her by surprise, I think, because it was a tame effort, which was easily fielded.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be in from Sarri. She's normally real lethal in those positions. Niamh Evans just hooked it on. It's ended up being a great pass through, and yeah, one-on-one opportunity. She just tries to side foot it in rather than generate power over lace. As you can see from her reaction, she's really disappointed with that one, and yeah, she will be for her standards.
Likewise, Jordan Nobbs with that through ball. Not quite on the same page as Emily Murphy. Sarri with 11 for the season in League and Cup, 7 in the WSL. Kind of situation that if you're a Birmingham City fan, you sort of dream of the ball falling to her right there, but it didn't quite come off. Here she is roaming again, though. And taking aim from a fair bit further out. Very much one of those players, though, who can produce something out of nothing and make the difference on a night like this.
Yeah, I think for both teams, we mentioned Murphy for Newcastle, Sarri for Birmingham at the start of the game. And yeah, you need those players in games like this when the game is so crucial. You need your big name players to step up in these moments. So I think Birmingham definitely will be looking to Sarri. Even Lidehammer now here on the screen, I think she's been a real good signing for Birmingham. What I've seen so far, physical presence, and has that technical ability to certainly score from distance. So yeah, you need your big name key players to step up in games like tonight.
Yeah, Vilma Lidehammer almost played as the number 9 at the weekend. She can fulfill a lot of roles. And you mentioned earlier on how frustrating the early parts of matches can be if your side doesn't turn up. Tanya Rochterby actually said, she used the phrase saying, we wasted 45 minutes of football in the last game. We weren't at our level at all in terms of energy, performance, and final end product in the first half, and really felt like it was a 45 minutes just thrown away.
Yeah, it was. I watched that first half, and yeah, there was just not much movement. And I know Tanya, I've worked under Tanya, and I know the kind of style of play she wants. She wants lots of movement, the girls getting on the ball, and they weren't really demonstrating that in that first half. And there was one particular instance I saw where Aoife was, the captain was basically shouting at her team to move. So she'll definitely expect better of the girls for this whole game, not just the first 45 minutes, but the 90 minutes as well.
She said that they addressed that at half-time, so you can only imagine what was said and how it was said.
Well, she's an Aussie as well, so we know they tend to get angry at times. But yeah, I know Tanya, she definitely will have not be scared to have dealt a few words to the girls, let's put it that way.
Good work from Lotte Lindstrom here for Birmingham City, in towards Sarri. Mia Gower there as well. Lidehammer maybe thought about having a go herself. It's all very tight. And it's Newcastle United who emerge with it at pace. Jordan Nobbs. Back for Wardlaw. The momentum of that attack has rather dissipated. Birmingham City back swiftly behind the ball. One back by Sarri, and Chelsea cornered as well. Nicely played for Mia Gower to try and use it for Lindstrom.
Birmingham is settling down a bit now, just passing the ball around, and that's they've got real quality on the pitch in all positions, and they have this ability to play the ball around quickly. So I think looks like both teams are maybe settling down a little bit now after the first 15 minutes.
Now that looked to be a painful one. Might take a little while to shake off.
Was in the stomach, I couldn't see. Winded, and yeah, those do hurt. If it is that she's winded, kind of takes your breath away. Look back at the replay. Oh no, came off her, yeah, deflected off her knee onto her chin, unfortunately.
She's given herself an uppercut there, effectively. That's a nasty one, but one that can be quite serious. Freya Gregory clearly in discomfort, and of course there's always a safety element for these things, even if they do look quite comical. It provides everybody with a break for a moment to reset in terms of fluids and tactics. Of course, these days, so much care taken with any sort of knock to the head.
Yeah, should we hope it's not a concussion, because that 2-week protocol can be a bit of a nightmare. Now she's up on her feet. I think just the shock of it, probably what put her on the floor, but looks like she's back on her feet and all good.
Of course, these teams just back from a hefty delay in WSL 2 proceedings for the international break. And both managers have spoken about the difficulties during an international break to try and keep the momentum in your side, because of course a lot of the players aren't there, and you work with a different pool of players, but then some aren't taking on the lessons that others are, which makes it complicated.
Yeah, I think, you know, towards the end of my career when I was at Tottenham, yeah, there'd be like a handful of us in training, 5 or 6 left, the non-internationals. So it was good in one sense, maybe more fun games and more chance to work on more individual bits. But yeah, you definitely prefer it when all of your teammates are there and you're able to work on the more of the aspects in relation to a game. But obviously, you know, even in WSL 2 now, you know, these squads are so strong. There's such an international aspect to the teams now that, yeah, a lot of the teams, even at this level, are losing players now to the international break, which is great for the league, but not good for those girls left behind.
Mia Gower there, striking it after some good work from Lindstrom. Interesting to see how the use of Lotta Lindstrom tonight affects the dynamic, with Mia Gower coming back in, with Leidhammer dropping deeper. Birmingham City corner. Spinning in towards a fair few red shirts. Wardlaw it was who managed to get a bit of distance on the clearance. Another problem here.
Looks like Freya again, is it?
It does, yeah. Just wonder whether she might have done some damage in that incident a few moments ago. Of course, people often think when they see a moment like that it could be a head injury, but of course it can be something that really is a problem for eyes and eyesight, therefore, and therefore balance as well.
It's hit her in the face again, the ball, hasn't it? It's really unfortunate. She's had two knocks to her face in the last couple of minutes. She's just caught another sharp one again. She's been in the wars already, hasn't she, poor Freya?
Certainly not very common that the same player would get hit in the head in the space of a few minutes. Of course, that's the kind of thing that can play real havoc if you're a contact lens wearer. Birmingham City gaining a throw here. A lively opening 20 minutes in terms of possession in the middle of the park. Not too many clear-cut chances, though, it must be said, as yet. The visitors trying to create one here. The flick from corner, looking for Lindstrom. One in the air by Heron. Hoisted high for Lindstrom once again. Shouts of hands. Right old coming together. Leidhammer. Options in the middle here for Birmingham City. Sarri is one of them, Lindstrom the other. It's well defended once again by Newcastle United, who've had to be good in the air in these opening exchanges. Shouts of hands, and this time it is Newcastle United's ball. The pressure relieved for the time being.
Yeah, I think Birmingham will be looking to get Lily Crosswhite on the ball as well. She's had another player that's had a really impressive season for Birmingham. She's a real danger on that right-hand side and whipped in a nice ball in there. I think the issue for Birmingham with Lindstrom playing is that she's obviously on the smaller side, so I think they need to try and still get a Lidehammer in the box as much as possible. Sarri on that far side, because you know with Cooper, Perfield, Aoife Mannion at the back, they're good defenders who can win it aerially. So I think not relying on Lindstrom to maybe get ahead on it, but getting the presence of Lidehammer in the box is going to be key for Birmingham tonight.
So many different ways this game could be won or lost. Sarri looking to hoist one in towards Lily Crossthwaite, who was backing her up. Freya Gregory well and truly back in the routine now, which is good to see. Formerly of Southampton, of course, she played there last season, actually scored against Newcastle in her time in red and white stripes. And the recruitment for both of these sides has actually been really interesting this season, hasn't it? At the start of the campaign, and also, of course, in January, when there was a fair bit of change.
Yeah, I think especially for Birmingham in the January window, it was quite common knowledge that they spent a bit of money and bought in some good players, the likes of Lidehammer, Mia Gower. I think for Newcastle, maybe a little bit quieter, but I think even in this summer, you know, both clubs are going to invest again. Certainly if one of them goes up into the WSL 1, they'll have to invest. But even if either or both do happen to stay in WSL 2, I think they will continue to invest. You know, they've got the backing of the owners, which is great. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what does happen in the summer transfer window.
Such a good race for promotion at the moment, with Charlton at the top, of course, Birmingham City second, Crystal Palace in third place. The next opponents for Newcastle United, incidentally, here at the weekend. Bristol City fourth, Newcastle fifth, Southampton in sixth. It's an intriguing promotion picture there. That's as it all stands at the moment, including the game tonight being a draw at the moment. So Birmingham City with 17 played, 33 points. Newcastle 17 played, 28 points. And of course the top two go up, and the third place team goes into the relegation playoff with the bottom WSL team.
Yeah, I've spoke to a few people this week, and I think for both clubs tonight, this week is massive, and it could almost be season defining. So I think with Newcastle, for example, big game tonight against Birmingham, big game again on the weekend against Palace, and Palace have really come into their own these last few weeks. I think they've got a nice run now under Joe Potter and full of confidence. So yeah, going to be a real interesting and tough encounter for Newcastle on the weekend. And again with Birmingham, you know, the 3-game week, big win. Wasn't a convincing win, but a win is a win against Southampton. They're definitely looking to minimum get a draw tonight, and then another big game, Sheffield at home, which they will ultimately be looking to win based on where Sheffield are in the league. So yeah, could be a season defining week for both teams.
Well, that's dribbled the wrong side of the line from Birmingham City's point of view. Jordan Nobbs in a hurry to get things restarted. Decides in the end to wait for Charlotte Wardlaw, whose versatility comes into its own at a time of the season like this, with injuries, with suspensions, the ability to play in defence or in midfield. Both teams want the ball. It's been awarded, though, to Birmingham City. I wonder what Amy Merricks has made of the opening 25 minutes.
I think overall Birmingham have probably been in possession the most, but she'll want a bit more from a team. Like we've said, there's not been any real clear-cut chances as there, so it's just about being a bit more clinical and finding those accurate crosses and passes in that final third. Obviously a real good chance for Sarri, wasn't there, at the about 8-minute mark. So yeah, just trying to break the Newcastle defence down and being a little bit more patient in that final third. I think that's key when, you know, you have got the likes of Mannion, Cooper and Birmingham at the back for Newcastle.
It's already shaping up to be the kind of night when those on the bench might be sitting there thinking, this could be my night to make the difference. A tight battle that could be decided late on, maybe.
Yep, who's going to come on and be the hero?
Up and away from Cook for Wardlaw to control. And back now for Mannion, formerly of Manchester United, of course, as well as Birmingham City. Stepping away from Sarri. Moved on neatly by Emma Kelly. Many very happy to see her back in black and white stripes after a layoff. Here goes Freya Gregory. Just about ran out of pitch, I think. Well, she wants a corner, and Birmingham City say the ball was already out of play when it was kicked off a defender and out.
Yes, watch the replay. See. Oh, it's tight, isn't it? Not sure if the whole ball went out. I think McKenna thought it might have gone, but good play there from Freya Gregory. And that's Gregory all over. She's very direct. Loves to run at defenders and try and whip crosses into the box on the left side. But good opportunity now for Newcastle to make the most of this corner.
Now, whether it's the right call or the wrong call, there'll be a debate if this ends up going in the back of the net. Ball swirling in and very well claimed and held by Adriana Franch. Sign of a good goalkeeper, of course, to have very little to do and to suddenly make a decision to come and collect correctly. Give and go with Rebecca McKenna. Not quite working out for Birmingham City, although they've gained some ground. Very close game on the scoreboard, and in terms of possession so far, pretty much 50-50. Mia Gower trying to get there. The challenge on her was pinpoint, and it had to be.
Yeah, good defending there from Newcastle. And even as I was watching that cross come into the box, they're very set. Looks like it's only Lindstrom really that's in the box posing a threat. But when Newcastle got the whole back line set and ready to clear, I think it's important that some more bodies for Birmingham get forward, whether that is Lidehammer, Mia Gower, even Cornet. You know, she's scored some crucial goals this year for Birmingham.
Well, Mannion had to get there first and made sure she did it. It's another ball in the face. Some important defending from Newcastle United there.
Never seen so many balls in the faces at this time. At first 30 minutes in, it's been a bit of an unfortunate one for Birmingham, hasn't it, at the moment?
Rebecca McKenna it was this time.
Yeah, it's a sharp one, that is. Aoife's done the right thing. She's obviously just tried to defend. Fortunately for McKenna, it's come right off her chin. Hope she'll be okay again, but bit of a sharp one. Potentially a nosebleed, is it? Not sure.
It's not often that all of the added time at the end of a half is because the ball's been kicked into various players' faces along the way. It's just a cue for many on the touchline to get warmed up just in case. And it is a very interesting bench. Well, for both sides tonight, particularly some might say the strength on the Birmingham City side of things.
Yeah, I think we can see Lucy Quinn there warming up. Herter as well. She's had a really effective season, technically very good, can come in on the wing as well. Hopcroft, Lee, you know, all experienced players. So yeah, real strong bench for Birmingham. I'll be very surprised if we don't see some of those on the bench coming on a bit later on in the game.
Yeah, Martha Harris an option there as well. Of course, the Birmingham bench is one player shy now of Newcastle United's bench because of the withdrawal of Hannah Silcock in the warm-up. But still plenty of options there for Amy Merricks as time ticks on. I'm having to work quite hard here to stop the blood flow for Rebecca McKenna.
Yeah, appropriate shirt to wear, but even if she does get blood on it, would have to change it. But yeah, it looks like a bit of treatment going on there, doesn't it? Looks like a sore one.
And such an innocuous incident. And moments like this can just make a difference to the thought processes of players. The ability to stay switched on, so important here, isn't it? To be ready when that whistle blows again. 14 big minutes left before the break, and there'll be a fair few added on because of these various facial issues so far.
We're going for a first half record here, about 10 minutes. I've never had that many added on minutes in the first half. Normally towards the end of the game, isn't it? But it's good to see Birmingham getting together. I think that's really important. Obviously Newcastle are doing it as well. But you know, when you do have these moments in play where someone's down injured, or there's time to just get together, talk as a team, and I think just having those conversations gives you a bit of a psychological edge and boosts confidence. You know, it's good for all the units to get together and speak about what they need from each other a little bit more. So it's good to see from Birmingham and Newcastle doing it in parts as well, and just gives them a bit of an edge and an ability to share any key messages that might need to be get across.
I think she'll probably admit it's not her best look, but it's effective for now, and that's what matters.
She's laughing it off. As far as she can breathe with that on, but
she is one of those out there who's a real battler.
He's obviously making her look a lot more tough, and yeah, she's going to scare off the Newcastle wingers now with those two bits in her nostrils. But yeah, I'm hoping they come out at some point once the bleeding stems.
Corner flag getting involved as well. It's all happening, apart from moments in the final third, the attacking thrust that we've seen so often from these two sides this season. They're keeping each other quiet at the moment. Birmingham City, of course, for the moment, down to 10 players here. Newcastle United looking to perhaps try and take advantage of that, although Miyagawa dropping in to cover the absent McKenna, who has now rejoined, is scurrying back towards her position, filling in midfield for the time being. Such experience, of course, Rebecca McKenna, not just for various clubs along the way, but for country as well, for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I've watched Birmingham on numerous occasions. She's a fantastic player. You know, proper defender, pace to burn, which is really important as a defender, certainly when you're coming up against pacey wingers. But yeah, I've always been impressed with McKenna. She's consistently a good player and puts in solid performances.
Up goes Cook. Strong in the aerial challenge. Jordan Nobbs now looking to slide it through for Wardlaw, who was on the slide herself. And it wouldn't just quite sit correctly for Emily Murphy. Who's looked the most likely for Newcastle so far.
Yeah, we highlighted her at the start of the game. She's a key player for them. Just doesn't quite sit up nicely. I don't think she's expecting it to come back so soon and just kind of trips on the ball. But yeah, I think Newcastle were definitely looking to find her tonight in as many occasions as possible. She's the main goal-scoring threat for Newcastle. And like I mentioned earlier, probably full of confidence at the minute with, you know, goal on the weekend and good performances for Ireland in the international break.
Birmingham City with a chance to attack now. It's nicely done by Crosthwaite. And Tamanen well and truly called into action. Birmingham City clicking into gear there and very nearly getting a reward.
Yeah, it was a good effort there from Crosthwaite. Brilliant save from Tamanen, and she parried it. I didn't know who it was going to fall to, but luckily it fell to one of her own defenders. Again, we mentioned the pace of Crosthwaite. You can see her ability here just to use that pace to take on players. I don't know if it's a cross-come shot, but she just managed to whip it across. But good parry away there from Tamanen. Luckily, it fell down to Charlotte Wardlaw.
Well, many were excited when she signed a 3-year deal from Durham. Nearly 100 appearances for them. Well, that could go anywhere. Fell for Lindstrom. Whipped into the middle again. Tamanen made it hers. Needing to be on her toes in the last few minutes.
Yeah, there's a great whipped-in ball there from Rebecca Holloway. Naturally left-footed, nice ball in, dangerous right in that 6-yard box. But again, Taman has done well there to just punch it away. Real crucial punch there from her.
Yeah, Crossthwaite showing her pace. Deciding not to whip it over first time. There's venom in that hit and it needed to be held. Lindstrom was there ready to pounce.
Yeah, another good save there from Taman, and that really fill her with confidence. You know, 3 good saves in the last minute or so. But again, utilising Crossthwaite's pace down that right-hand side. Nice setback to corner it, and she just struck it with good pace. So Lindstrom was following in. We had a real good take there and save from Taman. If she'd have parried that, could have fell into Lindstrom's path and could have been a goal for Birmingham.
Finnish international goalkeeper who's really caught the eye in her time in Sweden and in Finland, and now of course in between the posts for Newcastle United. There's a race on here and it's won by Frantic rather than Murphy. Really good starting position from the Birmingham City goalkeeper. Game just starting to come to life a little bit as we tick towards half-time, albeit with a fair wedge of time to add on, you'd think. Aoife Mannion. Back to Tamanen. Diana Cooper. Patient build-up from Newcastle United, which comes to an abrupt halt with Rebecca McKenna stepping in. Here, Gower for Leidhammer. It's a snappy challenge from Emma Kelly.
I think Newcastle, the build-up play is good, but then when it gets to the front line, they just offers a bad touch or passes not quite coming off. They just need to tidy that up a little bit when it does get into the front line.
Sarri. Oh, that's got to be a handball against Wardlaw. Question is, where was it committed?
Yeah, just outside the box, wasn't it, I think? I thought the referee had missed that one at that point, but good little cut back there from Sarri. And yeah, I don't think Wardlaw's meant it on purpose, just come off her hand, but good spot in the end and good opportunity now for Birmingham, real vital spot to, whether she'll go for the shot or try and get a cross in, we'll see. I think she's eyeing it up, but.
So yellow card there to Charlotte Wardlaw. And she might argue there that that was a good yellow card to take, because had she not taken the law into her own hands, quite literally there, Beatrice Sarri was in, wasn't she?
Yep, she was. I'm not sure if it was on purpose, I can't tell. I think just a trailing arm as she was sliding, so maybe she was a bit hard done by to receive a yellow card, but as you say, I think Sarri could have been in there, so she'll take that one for sure.
It's a quick one for Lindstrom. And through a forest of legs, Leidhammer trying to make something of it. Tried to tee up Lindstrom. And Newcastle United lead the counter, which is short-lived. Crossthwaite. Starting to play a bigger role for Birmingham City as this half wears on. We'll start again with Holloway and with Heron. Holloway. Crossthwaite. Sarri just asking a bit too much. Mia Gower getting involved. Kelly trying to take it away from Sarri.
Yeah, see what Cornet was trying to do there, but I think both teams need to be a little bit more patient. I think they're trying to rush to the final outcome, whether that's through balls or a longer ball there by Niamh Heron. I think they just need to be a bit more patient in the build-up. That then allows bodies to come forward, and you know, you've got more chance of scoring the more bodies you've got forward. But I can see why the teams are doing it, because they're so desperate to score, they want to win the game. But I think sometimes it's just about being that little bit more patient and allow more clear opportunities to open up.
It's fair to say the locals wanted a free kick there, but it's not going to go their way. Although Birmingham City can't make anything of the turnover.
Yeah, again there, you know, just rushing. I don't know who that was. I think that was meant to be a through ball to Sarri, but can cross right there, just kind of pull back and allow more of her teammates to join in rather than rushing to the outcome.
Freya Gregory. That just will bobble all the way through. Nice spin from Crosthwaite. Took two to stop her. Forward by McKenna towards Lindstrom. Actually managed to win the header there against Diana Cooper somehow. Linehammer's layoff. McKenna beaten to it. Emma Kelly, once again, industrious in the centre of the park. There's potential in this Newcastle break. Murphy. On for Jordan Nobbs. She can hit them. Oh, there's your proof. That's delightful. Top draw, top corner. Jordan Nobbs steps forward for Newcastle United. And with half-time approaching, we have a breakthrough of some quality.
Yeah, that is classic Jordan Nobbs. You do not want to give her time and space on the edge of the box. I've seen that many times as a teammate of hers for England, but also playing against her when she was playing for Arsenal. The amount of goals she scored from that distance, that's a trademark Jordan Nobbs strike, and yeah, fantastic finish, really important goal. I'll say right before half-time, but I'm not sure how many more minutes are added on, but yeah, fantastic strike there from Jordan, showing her quality and her ability to strike from distance.
And that was all so very Jordan Nobbs, wasn't it? Picking up the ball, engineering the room, finding the top corner, and then no real celebration, just getting everyone to focus on what's to come in the half.
Think of how important the game is. Maybe she doesn't want to get too ahead of herself and just wants to see the team into half-time.
So what of the Birmingham City reply? Well, a cross gobbled up by their goalkeeper, who has been key so far for Newcastle United in this first half. Oh, that could be a huge goal in the seasons of both these sides.
You have to give credit to Emma Kelly there. I think she was the one that broke up the play, and that's where Newcastle countered from. So good, important tackle from her there to allow Newcastle to break, and for Jordan to get on the ball and deliver a fantastic strike and goal.
Kelly knocking it back and up and away from Cooper, and it does change things big time in the table if it stays this way, because it means that Birmingham City really close in on those top three positions. Well, Newcastle United rather closing in on those top three positions. Birmingham City wouldn't be able to make this game in hand count in the charge to try and close Charlton down.
Yeah, it really does change it, doesn't it? I think with all those teams now, Birmingham, Palace, Newcastle, 17 games. Even if Newcastle win that and then Palace and Birmingham lose and they go ahead, jump into second. So yeah, we did say, didn't we, that this week's a real big week and could be a real defining week for both teams.
You'll hear those three words a lot between now and the end of the season, as it stands, because there'll be a lot of tables drawn up like that, which will ebb and flow as the matches develop. Newcastle United can't afford to get too excited about that yet, and Birmingham City not too down about it either. We're going to add at least 5 minutes onto the half now for various bumps and bruises. Newcastle go searching for number 2. Emily Murphy just took it a little too far, perhaps. Neve Heron in the way.
Yeah, great tackle there from Heron. I think that was really important. It was a good counter again from Newcastle, potentially into a 2-on-2, 3v2 situation, but Neve Heron stood her ground and just managed to get a little toe in and win the ball back. I can see her kind of shouting at the players, to midfielders in front. Yeah, they just need to tidy up. I think Mia Gow was probably fouled there and the ref didn't give it, but really credit to Newcastle. They made the most of that and they look dangerous on the break. They've got that pace in Murphy and the likes of Larson and Gregory getting forward as well. I think that could be a real key way for them to break down Birmingham. He's on that counter-attack.
Here is Murphy. Perfield showing it to Lindstrom and then whipping it away. That goal has certainly given Newcastle United an injection of confidence.
Yeah, interesting there to see the action areas, and I think, yeah, the goal and that last opportunity, it's very much possession with Birmingham is in the Newcastle defensive half, but they're doing well to counter and use the pace, and that's where their opportunities are coming from, and they should continue to look to do that moving forward. Hasn't been much action in the Birmingham half, so yeah, I think the stats kind of show that for Newcastle in this game, they just need to try and hit Birmingham on the counter and utilise that pace. It probably will be Birmingham to have more of the offensive play.
Painful one for Larson. Up and away from Mannion. Tidied up by Kelly, who called the draw at Bramall Lane at the weekend a blip and was very much hoping that Newcastle United could turn things on in the games ahead, starting here tonight. Of course, they host Palace next, as we mentioned, but then it's the derby against Sunderland before they have Forest at home, Bristol City away, another potentially key promotion battle, and they end against Durham on their own patch in a local battle.
Yes, Newcastle have got some interesting games as well. The Sunderland one naturally will be a tough game just because it's the local derby, but they're playing a lot of the teams in and around them, so this is why, if they get a result against Birmingham here, that's massive, and if they can do that against Palace, against Bristol, was it Nottingham Forest as well, I think you said?
That's right,
those are all teams in and around them, so yeah, definitely got a difficult run in towards the end of the season.
Birmingham City are at home to Sheffield United at the weekend. They go to Bristol City. They host Sunderland. They also host Manchester City in the FA Cup, beginning of April, before a home game against Ipswich Town, and then the season-ending league clash at home against Charlton. I say season-ending, of course, if they finish third, there'll be another game.
Yep. I think you look at those fixtures there, Birmingham have probably got the easier run-in until the end of the season. Ipswich, Sheffield on the weekend now is going to be a massive game, especially if they don't pick up the points they want out of this game. But yeah, it's definitely going to keep it interesting as certainly as a neutral fan, whoever watches and follows the league. It's really exciting and it's good. It's great for the game. And I think when I used to play, and certainly in my early years, it was always Arsenal that ran away with the trophy, and that's definitely changed, over the last few years. It's good to see a chance now.
Holloway's ball in, and it's Lindstrom who it spins to. Had a bit of a wild swing at it in truth, and it was always bending the wrong way.
Yeah, and I think it fell to her quite late. She couldn't quite adjust her feet to get onto that one. Again, good to see Becky Holloway bombing on and trying to get crosses into the box. It's Perfield that's cleared it, and yeah, just couldn't quite sort her feet out. Again, a bit like Sarri, try and hit it with your laces instead of using the side foot to try and get that placement. I think she could have maybe used the laces to generate the power and the straighter shot at goal.
Half-time, and at the break, it is Newcastle United's game. All because of one moment of quality from one player in particular. Jordan Nobbs finding space, finding the top corner, and making the difference for those in black and white. Both sides industrious, doing their best to create openings at either end of the field. Birmingham City didn't take theirs. Newcastle United found the target with an effort of quality. At the break, Newcastle United 1, Birmingham City 0. Well, just the one goal in this game so far. In the reverse fixture, there were 6 in total. It's a big win for Birmingham City earlier on in the campaign. But there's work for them to do in this second half to turn the chances that were created, the potential in that first half, into some tangible reward in this second.
I was just looking at the teams, and I think a real key difference is you just have to have those players that can take the game by the scruff of the neck. And you know, look at Newcastle. They've got the likes of Aoife Mannion, Jordan Nobbs. They're winners. They know how to win games. They've been at clubs like Arsenal, Man United. They, you know, Aoife with us at Birmingham. You know, they know what it takes to win games, and that experience is really key. And I look at the Birmingham squad, and I'm trying to look at, like, I'm not saying they're not winners, but you know, who's going to really take the game by the scruff of the neck. And you know, look at the likes of Chelsea Cornick. She's done that with Rangers, obviously wearing the captain's armband, and it's players like that that really need to step up, not just on a technical level when they're on the ball, but really encouraging the girls off the ball as well, and just getting that motivation to take the game by the scruff of the neck and motivate the rest of the players. So yeah, I think it could be a battle of that tonight.
And in terms of personnel, there's no changes at the break. We'll see in the coming minutes if there are any tactical tweaks by either head coach. Murphy trying to make the ball hers. Miyagawa stepping in, shielding for McKenna, who seems to have healed from the injuries picked up in the first half. Nice work from Crosthwaite, who ended the first half well. We'll be looking to carry that form on into the second period here. Sarri. Lindstrom waiting in the middle, Lighthammer as well, joined by Miyagawa and by Holloway, who's well forward too.
Again, Newcastle really set well in the box. I think it was Sarri on the left, was it, on the ball, and I was looking in the box, and yeah, Newcastle just got that flat line. They've got the holding midfielder dropping deep, and they're really making it difficult for Birmingham to get any kind of space in the box. So you have to give credit to Newcastle from a defensive point of view. You know, I think if it's the goalkeeper, Aoife, you know, communicating and getting that back line set. And I think for Birmingham, they've got to try and think of clever ways to break them down, whether it is just starting and being a bit more patient in and around the box, waiting for those spaces to open up. But they're going to have to be creative because Newcastle are making it really difficult for them.
Murphy helping it through towards Larson, well covered by McKenna. Yeah, defensively, these two sides so far through the season have been very close. Newcastle United have conceded 20 goals. Birmingham City now have conceded 19 after that Jordan Nobbs strike a little earlier. Yeah, they are poles apart, though, in terms of attacking sense. Birmingham City has scored 12 more goals than Newcastle United, which is not too far off, one more per game.
I think Birmingham had a good variety of goal scorers as well. Sorry.
Another painful one. Sorry, Keris. That's another one right in the face. Jordan Nobbs this time, who is, well, she's having a debate now. She went down holding her head, so the game had to stop. And the referee now saying that she has to leave the field.
Yeah, she's insisting she doesn't need it. I don't know why the referee's insisting that a physio comes on there. Maybe he's panicked a little bit because it's supposed head injury, but I think Jordan Nobbs isn't happy about that, is she?
It's part of the sort of protocol, isn't it, to protect a player if you go down with a head injury, so that you do get checked over. It's one of those rules that not everybody likes, but it's sometimes these referees have to enforce rules that's well above their pay grade. I mean that in the nicest possible way. It's not their fault that they have to make certain calls. Newcastle continue with the ball, albeit Jordan Nobbs for the time being a spectator. Now it's a free kick for the foul on Larson. Via tricky Sarri, it was who caught it. Jordan Nobbs returns. So Molly Pike over it, along with Freya Gregory. It's McKenna's ball. Nicely taken in her stride by Lindstrom, who has options now. Tried to help it through to Sarri, who tried to flick it on for Crosthwaite.
Yeah, again, there could Lindstrom have just been a bit more patient. She's trying to kind of force the ball through, and it's a bit of a bobbly ball into, I think it was Sarri. Just need to try and be a little bit more patient rather than trying to force the outcome.
Shannon Cook. Lindstrom's touch again. Gregory back for Cooper. Mannion for Larson for Wardlaw, just the wrong side of the line. And Rebecca Holloway just trying to pinch a few yards.
Yeah, she's just in a hurry to try and get on with the game, isn't she? It's good to see. I think Birmingham do need that urgency, but not too much urgency that then causes panic. And, you know, still got plenty of the game to go. Lots of changes that we'll probably see, so they just need to have that urgency, but make sure it doesn't turn into too much that then causes a bit of chaos amongst the team.
Yeah, character important, quality too, but composure key, isn't it, as this kind of match ticks along. There is movement on the sideline, so we're going to get a change very shortly. Luciano Trey is waiting to come on for Birmingham City. Lighthammer. Crosthwaite. Went for power. It's Gregory who felt the full force once again.
Yeah, great tackle there from Freya Gregory. She slid in and got a good contact and block on the ball. Vital interception there, but a good opportunity now for Birmingham to try and get some bodies forward and make the most of the corner.
She'll just wait in the wings a little longer here. The Birmingham City substitute. Bodies go tumbling, but the game carries on. Collected here by Holloway. And Sarri now to drive towards the box. Cornet with the low crossing, which could have proved a problem, but Tamanen watched it all the way into the gloves. Deanna Cooper. Held up by Murphy, played by Nobbs for Gregory. Murphy again. Saw the run of Nobbs once more, as did Larson. Franch quickly there, though, to whip it off the toes of Murphy.
Yeah, some good little play there from Newcastle. Nice running behind from Jordan Nobbs. Just again, that final pass in the final third didn't quite come off.
Sarri's ball towards Crosthwaite, who was trying to hang up there to cushion it down for Lindstrom. Nicely done by Larson. From one end to the other here, Newcastle United with the attacking thrust. And the effort from Murphy blocked away by McKenna.
Yeah, again, another good counter-attack there from Newcastle. Larson's done really well there to get past, I think it was Becky Holloway, a nice little through ball to Murphy. Again, McKenna's come in there, used her pace to to get back, a real vital interception. But we said earlier, didn't we, about Newcastle, the counter-attack and how important that is, and it could have potentially been another goal there if it wasn't for the block of McKenna. So, yeah, good play from Newcastle there, and a good opportunity now to try and create a chance from a corner kick.
Which will be taken by Freya Gregory. Swinging in towards Mannion, who somehow managed to lose her marker and very nearly managed to gain a second goal for Newcastle United.
Yeah, good save from Frantic. You can see her shouting, wondering who's picking up Mannion. You can't have time in the box like that. I'm trying to see who initially was marking her with it. I think it was maybe Lily Crosswaite that's slipped and fell over, but really good opportunity there for Aoife Mannion, and good save from Frantic.
They jostle for position once again. Mannion, one of the main players, main targets from a Newcastle United point of view. Emma Kelly moves it on. Searching ball in once again. Jordan Nobbs will collect. Has the ability to bend it towards goal or towards a colleague. That might work out in their favour as Larson collects. Swung in with a fair bit of height once again. Mannion's still up there. Recycled by Kelly. Back in the mix for the flicked header, which was not far away at all. Niamh Heron had a real task on her hands there, trying to keep Newcastle United quiet.
Yeah, there's a good pressure there from Heron. Nice whip ball in from Freya Gregory, and Emily Murphy's done really well. I thought Heron might get there first. She's managed to sneak across and get a little flick on it, and yeah, it could have been dangerous. Nearly went in that far side post.
Oshonetre is on in place of Asato Miyagawa. In the first Birmingham City change. First Birmingham City change during the game, it must be underlined, because of course there was a change just before kickoff with Shannon Cook coming in to replace the injured Hannah Silcock from the warm-up. Touch from Jordan Nobbs, who's just helping everything tick along for Newcastle United here. Emily Murphy, always a good focal point for the attack. Moved on by Pike. Back for Cooper. Very nearly at the hour mark already.
Yeah, the game's definitely opening up a little bit more now. I think we've seen quite a few chances and opportunities for both teams, so ultimately both of them are going for it. Birmingham need a goal. Newcastle want to get another one to try and increase their lead a little bit more.
Crossthwaite with a darting run and a dangerous ball in towards Lindstrom. Weidhammer. Chelsea corner. Back to Heron. Tried to switch it. Well, it's easy to say, I guess, be patient on a night like this, but every now and again you look up at the clock and the minutes are ticking away and you can start to get a bit more frantic in the mind.
Yeah, I think some of the passes are still a little bit frantic. I've kind of said it for a lot throughout the game, that some of the Birmingham players are just trying to force that ball through. They just really need to stay patient in possession, keep moving, get bodies forward. I'd like to see, Chelsea corner it, maybe bomb on a little bit more, and it might be now you have to maybe commit one of the fullbacks to join in and create an overload down the side. That's the only way Birmingham are going to get back into the game, is by committing those bodies forward a little bit. But then it's difficult because Newcastle are good on the counter, isn't it? So it's trying to get that balance of having that security but still getting bodies forward.
So ball into an interesting area, and Shannon Cook's going to hit it and just got right underneath it.
thought that took a deflection at first, but yeah, maybe you don't want to fall. As a former centre-back, you probably don't want it to fall to a centre-back in the box. I hope she won't mind me saying that, but yeah, just got a little bit under it. She can normally rifle those in. She's certainly got a powerful strike. Just needs to get over the ball a little bit more on that one.
Well, we're going to see a Newcastle change this time, and it's the end for Emilia Larsson with Beth Lumsden, the natural replacement. Beth Lumsden, part of the team that was promoted with Newcastle United, of course, scoring a couple of goals against Sunderland, which always means you go down well with the locals.
Yeah, she'll love that, and the fans will love that as well. I think one of their own who's been at the team for a long time, and there's not many of the promotion-winning team, or players, sorry, in the team now, is there? You've got Beth Lumsden, Jazz McQuaid still around, but this, it just shows how much the squad at Newcastle has changed a lot. So it's nice to see that Beth Lumsden's still in and around it and getting opportunities.
Is Jasmine McQuaid one of those waiting in the wings tonight for Newcastle United? Gregory. It is very much that time in the game when managers look at what's behind them on the bench and how they can turn the game in their favour, or keep it as it is, of course. From a Newcastle United point of view, if it stays this way, they'll be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I don't foresee as many changes for Newcastle. Yeah, potentially Shania Hales, but Emily Murphy is the biggest threat, so whether Tanya Oxley want to keep her on the pitch for as long as possible. But I think Birmingham have got still some good players that can come on, the likes of Bathsheba Louis. Lucy Quinn normally makes an appearance and can score a crucial goal every now and again, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more changes from Birmingham potentially.
It is Newcastle who are pressing for a second here. Away by Cook. Lidehammer on for Sarri, who's looking to roam a little more perhaps in this second half, but it's not a pass that's up to her usual standards. Just worth noting as well, Emilia Larsson, who came off a moment or two ago, just having a bit of strapping applied to maybe a slight muscle strain, nothing serious, you would say, from the way she came off the field, the way she'd been playing, but requiring a little bit of medical attention, hence the withdrawal. Sarri managed just to poke it on. Trace ball in, it's Lindstrom. Just wouldn't sit for her. Solid challenge that by Heron. Needed to get that absolutely right. Just as we were talking about potential changes from the bench, Sinead Hopcroft is getting ready from a Birmingham City point of view as they try desperately to make something happen. Mannion tumbles in the box.
Yeah, you see Birmingham committing a few more bodies forward now. Good to see Becky Holloway getting up there. They're really trying, aren't they? But Newcastle are being resilient. They're putting in some crucial tackles, some crucial blocks, and making it really difficult for Birmingham to get any sort of space in the box. Even that last cross, Lindstrom got the first contact, but there was a Newcastle defender there just knocking her off balance and make sure she doesn't get a clean contact. So, really resilient defending from Newcastle, making it really, really difficult for Birmingham to get any kind of space in and around the box.
Forward it goes for Crosthwaite, who was galloping onto it, but it was well watched and claimed by Anna Tamanen. 25 minutes to play. Corner. Looking for Holloway, but now it's with Nobbs. Gregory. No room for manoeuvre in the middle of the park. Molly Pike trying to poke it away. This is Kelly. Wardlaw. Had it and lost it. Fine challenge that, which might have come at some personal cost from Holloway. But on go Birmingham City with Crossthwaite, whose touch was heavy. Showed too much of it to Deanna Cooper, who swept it clear.
Yeah, I think that just sums up Birmingham's game. It's just that final touch, that final pass is just not quite coming off for them. And you know, a lot of the forward players have been doing that. The quality of the final pass or the touch isn't quite there. And in a game like this, you need certainly your attackers firing off all cylinders, but just haven't quite been there tonight. Whether it's the nerves, not too sure. You'd think by now they would have settled into the game, but yeah, I think that sums up Birmingham's game so far. Just that final pass touch not quite coming off.
There's a fair bit of confidence in Newcastle colours here. It's a lovely ball and a super finish. Beth Lumsden off the bench. The second goal Newcastle United craved. And now Birmingham City have some serious work to do.
Yeah, really tidy finish there from Beth Lumsden. And that first touch of the game, I'm not too sure. She hasn't had many, and real vital one. Lovely ball over the top from Emily Murphy. Pinpoint pass right into her path. She sees Frantic coming off the line, and real tidy finish. I think those can be difficult, especially when the keeper's charging you down, and she's obviously put her arms up trying to make herself a big presence, but Lumsden's done really well there just to knock it over in a really tidy finish. And yeah, absolute hero coming off the bench. It's a really vital goal for Newcastle to go 2-0 up. And that next goal will be theirs after the first one had gone in. And yeah, you can see she's really pleased and happy about that one. And
it's her fourth touch of the game, only her fourth. And they always say, don't they, to substitutes, the last words or so would be, go on and make a difference. Well, she certainly has.
Absolutely, she's definitely come on and had an impact in those first 4 touches. Yeah, real quality composed finish there from Lumsden.
3/4 of the game gone, and it's Newcastle United's game, well and truly.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's the quality of the finishes. Jordan Nobbs, quality finish. Beth Lumsden, quality finish. Whereas Birmingham just haven't had that final quality in the third, and that's ultimately the difference between the two teams.
Gregory here with McKenna. And out it goes. They've got that insurance policy now, though, haven't they, Newcastle United? That second goal that can allow you to play with a bit of freedom, knowing that you've got something in the bag if indeed Birmingham City were to claw one back. Murphy for Kelly. And Franch had to watch that all the way into the gloves.
Yeah, really good strike there from Emma Kelly, and she can do that from distance, gets good power behind it. Again, just too much space on the edge of the box. Can't afford, certainly after Jordan Nobbs' goal, to leave players like Emma Kelly free at the box. But great save there from Franch down to her left. Another real vital save. I think that had gone in. It could have been game over for Birmingham.
Another Freya Gregory corner. Niamh Heron made it hers. Sarri setting up the breakaway, led by Lindstrom, and now it's Crossthwaite. With 2 to look for, make that 3 and 4 now. Leidhammer's pass. 3 waiting for the cross in here. Oh, and it's Lindstrom who's there. And she couldn't get the contact or the angle she wanted.
Yeah, nice ball in there from Hertra. Pinpoint right onto her head. I don't know if one of the defenders have done enough just to put her off. But again, we talk about that clinical finishing. It just wasn't quite there for Lindstrom. Great great ball in. I think Wardlaw's just done enough just to put her off balance, but those are the chances that need to at least go on target. Disappointing one there for Lindstrom.
So a double Newcastle United change. Morgan Gautreau and Demi Stokes, the two to come on. We're going to see 3 Birmingham City changes too. It's the end of the night for Emma Kelly, who nearly ended with a goal with her final touch. Demi Stokes with some final instructions before she enters the action. Emily Murphy just coming over for instruction more than anything else herself. She is remaining on the field. It is Deanna Cooper. So a reverse of one of the pre-match Newcastle United changes from the Sheffield United draw at the weekend. Hopcroft, Lee and Louis all ready to come on here. There is a job for Birmingham City to do here. Be a tricky Sarri, one of those to come off, as is confirmed by the board. There's a certain pre-season feel to this, isn't there? 5 changes at once.
Guess he's got to do that though, Amy Merrick's. They've got to try and get some way to get back in the game. Lee, good technician. Sheba Louis, she can finish and use her pace. But yeah, some changes are absolutely needed because it's not quite working for the Birmingham team as it stands. So let's see if these 3 can come on and be the difference and make an impact. Looks like Birmingham might revert to 3 at the back. Looks like I think they've got to. They've got to get more bodies for Holloway, Heron, and McKenna. I think.
Yeah, Shannon Cook was the other player to go off there, along with Crosthwaite and Sarri. Hannah Tamanen, quite happy just to wait, watch it all happen. Really, time is very much ticking in Newcastle United's favour. Sometimes the sheer number of changes like that can just unsettle a side. Quite apart from the quality of the player coming on.
I think Birmingham need a moment of magic. I think players like Lee, Hopcroft can provide that, but it's about the big name players stepping up now in these big games. Definitely needed from Birmingham in these last 20 minutes or so. I spoke about it earlier, the likes of Aoife Mannion, Jordan Nobbs, being players of experience who are born winners, leaders. And Newcastle are able to bring on the likes of Demi Stokes, and although she's a defensive player, she's still, won multiple trophies, knows how to see out games. And I think, again, that's the difference, isn't it? Being able to bring on players like that who can organise, encourage, motivate the team to fight to the very end.
It's a wonderful footballing CV that Demi Stokes has. As you say, someone who can just refresh the minds of those around her for the last quarter of an hour or so. Here's Bachiba Louis with a fair few trying to slow her down. She's got the skills, though, to make it interesting, albeit Tamanen, who's been immaculate in the Newcastle goal tonight, happy to watch that go wide.
Yeah, there's good pressure there from Aoife Mannion. It's not making it easy for Bachiba Louis. She's trying to wriggle her way through in the box, but Aoife, with her experience, knows just to hold it up, let her make the mistake and run it out of play. So good defending there from Aoife.
Amy Merrick's desperate for her side to come up with something to find a way back into proceedings for them. Nobbs, and now Gregory. Back for Stokes. A messy and scrappy game now suits the side 2 to the good.
Yeah, I think with Birmingham this game, I'm surprised they haven't tried to press Newcastle a little bit more. Certainly from goal kicks, they've kind of sat off. When you are 2-0 down, you've really just got to use that energy, give it all you've got and press. And I don't think they've done that enough this game. They haven't put Newcastle under too much pressure in their defensive third. And ultimately, you know, you've got a better chance of scoring if you win the ball higher up the pitch. But Newcastle's been able to play out. So I think Birmingham's pressure overall just could have been better. You know, force those mistakes, force those long balls from Newcastle that then just going to drop into your possession anyway. So I would have liked to have seen that. You know, whether it comes in this last 15 minutes, we'll see. But yeah, I think Birmingham just haven't been aggressive enough and really put Newcastle under pressure.
Well, there's still a fair bit of time for this to go Birmingham City's way, but you feel they need a foothold. And in order to get that, a goal rather soon would do them the power of good. And it was a tempting corner for Leidhammer, who really attacked it with gusto.
Yeah, great ball in again from her. We know the technical ability she has with that left foot. Again, fantastic ball. And yeah, Leidhammer's leapt well. She's got good contact on it, but hasn't quite come off. And I think, again, that just sums up Birmingham's game, doesn't it? It's not falling to them, not having that look that they might need. Yeah, real good opportunity there, and could have made it interesting if that had gone in the last 15 minutes.
Now the numbers suggest it's been a game of fine margins. The score sheet suggests it's a comfortable lead. Well, there was some contact there. Not necessarily enough to send Niamh Heron tumbling the way she did, but...
A little look at the replay. There's a nudge. I think Niamh probably could have stayed on her feet, but I think because the last touch came off her, she's done well there just to take the foul and win a free kick for her team.
Newcastle United once again well stocked at the back to see off the Birmingham City threat. Those in red go again. Lindstrom. Trying to build that momentum that could make a difference. Becca McKenna once again involved. It's a throw-in.
Birmingham is certainly piling on the pressure, but Newcastle are doing well just to clear the ball away and defend their line.
Hopcroft. Nearly for Lee Min. There's always the threat now, though, of the break. And a third goal would put it beyond Birmingham City. Four waiting for the cross. One of them is Lindstrom, just trying to send it back the way. Corner. Jordan Nobbs with the block. Wardlaw with the clearance, more up than away. But now Emily Murphy had to be stopped any which way. It looked, though, from here like the ball was taken.
Yeah, it's a good tackle there. Vault tackle. Again, Newcastle on the break there. Could have been another real good opportunity, but yeah, Vault tackle there from Hertra.
Nicely worked from Leidhammer to set her away. Hopcroft. Newcastle United preparing another double change, incidentally, as this Birmingham City attack develops. Niamh Heron. It's plenty behind that. Just wouldn't fall for Leidhammer, and then it falls very much for Newcastle United.
I think these changes have come at a good time for Newcastle, just to give them a bit of a breather. They've been under quite a lot of pressure these last 5-10 minutes. Fresh changes just to freshen up the legs and give a bit more energy for the last, what, 10, 15 minutes of the game.
So Shania Hale's one of those to come on here, who started her career at Birmingham City. Margazata Grek also being introduced for the final 10 minutes plus added time. Jordan Nobbs with a standing ovation as she leaves the field. A sumptuous opener and a typically Jordan Nobbs performance.
Yeah, I think the goal topped off a good performance for Jordan Nobbs, and yeah, good to see the crowd up on their feet and applauding her exactly what she deserved. And Shania now just come on and try that energy and try and see out the game with her teammates.
But it goes towards Bachibalui and Lindstrom as well. Demi Stokes in the way, possibly the ball hitting the hand. Either way, nothing given, and a chance to stretch the legs here for Hales. Just wonder, is there anything left in a creative sense in the tank here for Birmingham City?
I think it's difficult purely because Newcastle now are just going to sit back and defend. You can see it's only really Shania Hales chasing, even now she's coming back, and they're just going to sit in a low block and try and see out the game. You can see how tight the units are. Pressure's on. Whenever a Birmingham player gets it, there's a Newcastle player right up behind them, so it's not going to be easy. I think they'll have to try and work it down the sides, but that's where their strength is. They've got Hercher out there. They can look to get on and try and whip balls into the box, but even then, Newcastle got the bodies to defend it, and they've done that all game. So, yeah, it's going to be really difficult now for Birmingham to try and break that Newcastle defence down.
Lucy Quinn hovering on the touchline. We'll see her shortly. When it goes towards Hopcroft. Stokes watching her closely. And every time the ball falls, it falls to someone in black and white stripes, which is a triumph of organisation in a way, as well as a bit of luck.
I was going to say maybe the way to try and get a goal is a long-range effort, but I think that was a bit too far on that occasion.
Lotte Lindstrom is the player to make way for Lucy Quinn. Signed a one-year contract extension in the summer.
Quinny might be one of the longest serving players behind me. I don't think she's too far off. But yeah, she's been at the club for numerous seasons now. I had the privilege of sharing the pitch with her a few years ago.
Her 7th season now as a Blue across 2 spells. Chibalui. Back for Quinn. Trying to spin a venomous ball into the box. Now Wardlaw with Hales as the willing runner. Good defensive work by her. He just managed to step in and win it back for Birmingham City. Fresh legs and a fresh mindset perhaps helping out there. Maybe she made sure she got the free kick too. Quinn getting no change out of Murphy, who's been tireless tonight.
I think Tanya Oxter will be really pleased with this result. She definitely have took a 2-0 win at the start of the game, and having previously been at Birmingham as well, I think it'll be a nice one for her to get one over Birmingham, ultimately just to focus on moving Newcastle up the league, so they're in a real strong position now if they do hold out for this win.
She's had such an impact at the helm as well. Her first month in charge was perfect. 3 games played, 3 games won. And the momentum has kept building since then. She's the manager of the month for February in the Barclays Women's Super League 2. And it goes towards Bachibalui, and it breaks Newcastle's way once again.
Yeah, going back to Tanya, I've played under Tanya. She came in as an assistant coach when Mark Skinner was with us, but she's gone on to have a real good career. You know, moved to Chelsea, you know, learning under one of the best coaches in Emma Hayes, so she would have picked up some fantastic knowledge and experience there. Then going on to Northern Ireland as well, and yeah, she's a fantastic tactical coach, and you can see that she's implemented some changes in this Newcastle team, and I think they're just a lot more organised, more confident now. They'll have been given some real good tactical information from Tanya, and yeah, she's been fully deserving of a Manager of the Month award in February, and if this run continues, she might be going on for Manager of the Season. Let's see. Well, certainly Manager for the Month for March anyway.
Well, she'll be delighted with the fact that her side have kept Vilma Leidhammer very quiet tonight. A player there just trying to get the telling touch on the ball to haul Birmingham City back into the game. Hopcroft, very capable off the bench or from the start. Holloway making the overlapping run here. It's Utre for Birmingham City. Quinn. Hopcroft again. Quinn whipping out the skills against Murphy. Trying to fire it in. So many black and white shirts back there protecting this 2-goal cushion, and the time is ticking away all the time. Quinn once again, right in front of Amy Merricks, who's hoping upon hope here that Birmingham City can get something from this. Away by Stokes for Murphy once again. Happy to let the fresh-legged Hales now do the running up top. Just get the feeling now that home side are set in, are well and truly keeping their eyes on the prize. And they're happy to gallop away, thanks to Hales, who was hoping for a free kick and gets one.
Yeah, it's a really good play there from Hales, just to draw the foul and just buy the team some time, get them up the pitch. I think the reality is that all the Newcastle players are parking the bus behind the ball. It's just Shania on her own to try and win something, whether it's run into the corner or draw a foul like she did there. So, yeah, real smart play there from Hales, just to draw that foul and, as I said, bide her team a little bit of time. Run the clock down a little bit. Maybe see whether they put it in the box or maybe play it out to Lumsden on that far side and go and keep it in the corner. They're not committing too many bodies forward. So it looks like they might be trying to play that one into the corner.
Molly Pike indeed looks for Lumsden, who has eyes for the corner flag and for the boot of Holloway. Game management now.
Yeah, I can say clever play there from Lumsden. Knew exactly what she was doing, just winning the throw-in right in the corner. But it's all about game management now. How long that's for, we'll see. There's been quite a few substitutions, hasn't there? So we'll see how long the added time is. But yeah, Newcastle just want to hold out for this win now. If it means standing in the corner for 10 minutes, I'll take it. I did that once for Tottenham. I didn't realise I still had 10 minutes to play, and I think we were playing like Arsenal, and it was one of the first times we were on track to beat Arsenal. And we took it into the corner way too early. There was still like another 10 minutes of the game to go. But I was like, game management, girls, I just want to win.
Well, we'll find out very shortly the number on the board. And I'm hearing it's going to be 6 minutes to add on, which is still a fair amount of time if you're chasing. The problem is that really Birmingham City haven't looked likely to find the net in this second half, despite having a bit of the ball. Quinn. Nice little ball in for McKenna. For Quinn once again. 6 minutes indeed is the amount of added time as a minimum at the end of this game. Just got a few nerves jangling around here, but then the ball forward like that just calms everything down a little from a Newcastle point of view.
Yeah, Newcastle are more than happy for that to happen. And again, I think that just sums up Birmingham's game. It's just that quality, you know, they're forcing the ball, stray passes, stray touches. I think the general build-up play has been good. You know, they've been getting into some good positions, but Newcastle defending well and making it compact. At times it is forcing Birmingham to make and force passes, but I think Birmingham have been their own downfall as well. They need to be more patient, wait for those opportunities to open up, but they've just been forcing too much. And when that keeps happening as a player, you know, you sense it spreads across the team and kind of creates that doubt and nervousness, and then players end up making decisions like that and giving the ball away too easily.
Nice play from Maitre, who gains some ground, and Tamanen comes again with authority. Lee in for Bachiba Louis, Aoife Mannion in the way, along with a fair few others as well. Just trying to see this out. They've already played 90 seconds of the added 6 minutes. That'll be a corner ball.
Yeah, good play. Hertza's done well since she's come on. She's been getting on the ball and whipping in some real good deliveries into the box. I think that's what Birmingham maybe missed in that first half, especially with Newcastle defending so compact centrally. I think the best opportunities for Birmingham have come from those crosses from wide.
Quinn's corner, curling all the time, and well, both sides want the ball, and it's going to be a corner, won by Chelsea Cornet.
The keeper going to come up, what do you reckon? Frantic come up and try and get ahead on it.
Well, we're nearly at that point, aren't we?
Yeah.
Fired in, and Lee Min was closest to it. Holloway to reload. Needs a good delivery and a good header on the end of it, perhaps, and Niamh Heron can't oblige. Well, this is such a disappointment if it stays this way for Birmingham City. But of course, football is so often about contrast and a contrast of emotions. It'll be a 5-game unbeaten run for Newcastle United if they hold on here. 3 wins and 2 draws in that time. In towards Bachiba Louis. Swept clear once again. Louis. And Tamanen watched it go. It's going to be a corner.
Yeah, I think the game for Birmingham against Sheffield on the weekend is vital.
So many bodies in the box, but it's seen away by the home side. Hopcroft to try and rekindle it, bouncing away off Pike.
What do you think for the game on the weekend for Newcastle as well then, against Palace? This could be really interesting, couldn't it? And that could, again, you know, if Newcastle are confident now and get that win, could really dictate their season going forward, couldn't it? It could end up in that second place spot.
Could be huge for them, couldn't it? That's Hopcroft, delicious ball in! And Lee Min, how's that not gone in?
That is the question. How has that not gone in? But again, I think that just sums up the Birmingham performance, doesn't it? It hasn't fell for them.
Tamanen came for that, couldn't quite make it hers. McKenna's lofted cross. Wardlaw away, and the free kick will be Newcastle United. I think that maybe the ball swept out of play before it came back in again. Question mark of offside in the middle too.
Here's the opportunity for Lee. Nice short ball, Hopcroft just dinked it in. Perfect ball. I don't know how, I think it's harder to miss, isn't it? She's done well to head it down and try and guide it towards goal, but yeah, didn't quite fall in the direction she wanted to.
Quinn. Bachiba Louis picked off by Pike for a Birmingham City corner with very little time to spare. Away from Stokes this time, and there is the whistle. Newcastle United blow the promotion picture wide open. They soar up the table and reel Birmingham City in at the same time. The Magpies are building momentum at just the right time under Tanya Oxtoby. Such a frustrating night for Birmingham City, who just seemed to run out of steam in the final third. But it's Newcastle United's night, thanks to a beauty of a strike from Jordan Nobbs and a goal off the bench from Beth Lumsden. Smiles all around for those in black and white. It ends Newcastle United 2, Birmingham City 0. Keris, what a night that is for Newcastle United. A terrific performance and a huge result.
Absolutely, massive results. Players, Tanya, all the staff will be really pleased with that. And they deserved it. You know, ultimately the difference between the two teams was being clinical. Birmingham had the more and the better chances, but Jordan Nobbs' strike, fantastic. No chance for Frantic. And again, a real good quality finish from Lumsden. And yeah, that's the difference tonight. And yeah, the players can have plenty of smiles on their faces and celebrate that one. Real big victory. And takes them full of confidence now going into next huge game against Palace at home on the weekend.
They are delighted with their efforts and with their reward as well. 2-0 to the Magpies. So 3 massive points for Newcastle United, and both sides contemplating what has unfolded here tonight on the field come full time. These the numbers behind the victory, if you like, albeit showing promising figures for Birmingham City in attack without the goals as a reward.
We had more shots on goal but less on target, and that's the difference, isn't it? As I said, it's being clinical with those chances that you create, and like I mentioned before, Birmingham were good with the build-up play. Certainly in that second half, were piling on the pressure, had lots of possession, but just the quality in the final third just wasn't there. Sloppy passes, sloppy touches, ball not, contacts, headers not quite going on target. It just hasn't been their night. And you have those nights, I've had them many a time as a player where the ball just doesn't go in the net. You can try and create as many opportunities as you can. It doesn't happen, but we have to give credit to Newcastle. They defended well, made it really difficult for Birmingham to play through, and just ultimately resorted and left Birmingham with creating half-hearted chances, really. So yeah, well done to Newcastle. Really good defensive display from them, and were effective on the counter-attack.
And the table from their point of view looks a whole lot better than it did 90 minutes of football ago. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's just tell you what happened elsewhere tonight, just around the corner really, at the Eppleton Colliery Welfare Ground. A fascinating game in this one. Amy Andrews, you'll remember, put Sheffield United ahead after 4 minutes. Katie Kitching equalised for Sunderland on 57. 4 minutes later, Charlie Devlin was sent off for the Blades. And in the 94th minute, Eleanor Dale scored for Sunderland, and they thought they'd won it, only for Amy Andrews to score in the 99th minute from the spot to level it all up. 2-2 it finished up the road. And that means that those two sides stay very close together in the table. But it also means that Newcastle United have made a big difference to their area of the table at the top, reeling in Birmingham City. Look at that for the teams in second, third and fourth points-wise. The majority now have played 17 games. Charlton have played one more, as of Portsmouth, with Sheffield United and Ipswich Town with a game to make up on the rest. Remember, top two go up. Third place team plays the bottom side in the WSL for the right to be in the top flight next season. As it stands, Portsmouth will drop out of WSL 2, albeit look how tight it is down at the bottom with Ipswich Town, Durham and Sheffield United all very close together. Charlton, though, are the team to catch at the moment, and Birmingham City will be so frustrated that tonight they haven't closed the gap on the team at the top. The Addicts will be the side watching on this evening, delighted to see Newcastle win that, because it just keeps their advantage, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. All the Charlton players will definitely have been tuning into this one, and yeah, we'll be really pleased with that result. And I think for Birmingham, it's not even about chasing Charlton now. It's about just trying to maintain and aim for that second place spot, which they've made really difficult now. You know, Palace, Newcastle up there now. So yeah, I think with Birmingham not getting anything out of this game today, it puts them in a bit of a sticky situation. I think for them, it's not about chasing the first place. It's just trying to stay in that second position.
And it's worth noting that all the teams are chasing a side in Charlton who've only lost once this season. A remarkable record, really. And a side who clearly are making strides towards the WSL, perhaps quicker than many expected.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've watched Charlton a few times. I don't think they have necessarily the prettiest performances or play the best football, but they're just effective. You know, similar to how Newcastle were today. They're good on the counter. They're defensively solid. But they've been picking up the wins, and that's the difference. You know, they might only win games 1 or 2-0, but they're still getting those wins, whereas Birmingham, against the teams in and around them, they're not quite getting those wins and not comfortable. Even the game at Southampton on the weekend, you know, it was only a scrappy 1-0 win. So I think that's the difference maybe between Charlton and Birmingham, why Charlton are so far ahead in terms of points on the board.
Momentum's important, though, at this time of the season, isn't it? I mean, you've obviously been there and done it many times before in many campaigns, but I guess you know, as a side, if you're sort of up in those higher positions but struggling a bit for form, and you can see the guys coming up behind really gathering that momentum, and it's a worry.
Yeah, I think, you know, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, you know, they're still behind Birmingham, so technically when any games they go into, they're probably thinking they still are underdogs to get that second place, so the pressure's not as much on them. Whereas because Birmingham are still sitting in that second place, the pressure ultimately is still on them. They're the ones that people think will go on and get that second spot. But yeah, I think there's some big crucial games coming up. It's going to be really interesting to see how the game against Palace and Newcastle goes on the weekend. So I'm looking forward to tuning into that one. And again, real big game for Birmingham against Sheffield. But Sheffield are, you know, they've obviously got that confidence now with that late winner with Amy Andrews. They put in a good performance against Newcastle on the weekend, so that game for Birmingham won't be easy. Yeah,
late leveler, wasn't it? Because it was 2-2 in the end, but it was a game that just went crazy, that one at Sunderland. And of course, there's that fight to stay in the division as well, which is mind-blowing at the bottom. Portsmouth, Ipswich, Durham, Sheffield United, even Sunderland, all very tight together, which is a concern for any of those sides, because you certainly don't want to drop out of the WSL 2 here.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's very tense at the top, but even tenser at the bottom as well. I think those teams sitting in the middle of the league, and Nottingham Forest, your Southamptons, Sunderland, I think they're just happy to stay out of the headlines, aren't they, and stay out of the spotlight. I think they're quite happy just sitting comfortably in the middle of the table. I think the likes of Bristol might still want to try and push on and claim a stake in those top 3 spaces, but yeah, like I say, for a neutral fan, it keeps it really interesting. It's healthy for the league to see that it's not just, you know, one team definitely out at the bottom. I think Charlton probably have made a good claim for maybe running away with it, but keeps it really exciting for those second and third places at the top.
Yeah, Charlton still have to play Birmingham City. They still have to play Crystal Palace as well. So there's some intriguing fixtures left for the side at the top. For now, the players involved for the main part of the game tonight are in listening to thoughts from their respective head coaches, those who've played some part in the evening, going through the dreaded warm down, which is never a favourite of a player after a game like this. And it's worth, of course, thinking about games ahead in the division, because, of course, we've got the 2 results from tonight. But looking at matches at the weekend, Birmingham City host Sheffield United, Charlton go to Bristol City. Bristol City really needing to keep the pressure on the sides above them by getting something from that game. Ipswich Town, of course, fighting at the other end of the table. Some really interesting games over the course of the next few weeks.
Absolutely. I think every weekend, every game is like a cup final, certainly for those teams at the bottom and at the top of the table. And that's the way they have to see it. You have to have that mentality of every game is a must-win if you want to stay in the division, or for the top team still be in contention for that 2nd and 3rd place. So, but like I say, was it Portsmouth beat? Remind me, who did they beat? 2-0 Charlton. That's it on the weekend. So there's always surprises in this league, and then that's what keeps it exciting. So you can't really call them. I don't even want to call any of these fixtures or these games, because some of them can be so unpredictable.
I won't put you on the spot with all of these to come. But yeah, it's interesting to see how many teams in similar positions in the table are playing each other in the matches ahead. Fascinating to see how tonight has unfolded. Great to have quality finishes on a night like tonight, because we talked about the fact that these are 2 very good teams with a cast list of very good players, but sometimes teams like this can cancel each other out. We got that moment from Jordan Nobbs, we got that moment from Beth Lumsden. I suppose in the final third there wasn't too much more from either side in terms of real genuine quality.
No, I think, and I thought that was how the game was going to go, because in that first half, a lot of the chances they were just cancelling each other out, because both defences are solid, as we mentioned at the start of the game. So yeah, I was wondering if it was going to end up being a 0-0, but we managed to see 2 quality strikes from Newcastle. You have to mention Jordan Nobbs again. I'm sure we'll look forward to talking about that one again in the highlights. And also Beth Lumsden, you've got to give her credit. She's come on and she's had a real impact, and just really allowed the Newcastle girls to maybe just relax a little bit, but they were still hanging on and clinging on at the end there, but did the job and had a real good solid defensive display.
Look, Keris, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your company tonight, and thank you to you for picking us out, listening to us and watching the action unfold. We will, of course, return with plenty more WSL2 action in the days and weeks ahead. For now, though, bye from us.